What up, everybody? This is DGK. This is going to be Mafia Crime War here, and we're going to talk today about the factions. I've had a lot of questions about which faction is the best. Well, so let's see what all we have here, and let's go check these guys out. So right here, we got the Mafia faction, we got the Street Gang faction, we got the Lone Wolf faction, we got the Cyborgs, and we got the Mutants. So we'll start over here with the Mafia faction. Now, in the Mafia faction, we do have some good choices of tanks, DPSs, what they call shooters, tacticians, supports. We got a little bit of range here. We got a good healer in there as well. Over here in the Street Gang, we have a couple of the best tanks, I think, in the game. We got a real good healer. We got some good DPS, a little bit of support in there too. Over in the Lone Wolf, I believe this faction has the most out of any faction currently. Some real good tanks. One of the Big John Howard, love him. Some of the best assists, some of the best DPS. Real good healer. So, as you're looking through and you're saying, hey, I want to build this team and I want to get those bonuses, which faction has the best? That can't really be answered, I don't think, yet, because not all the enforcers are out yet. So if you're looking to build a team, we're looking to get, as we talked about in the last video, what we're looking for a bonus on here is when we go into a fight of any sort, we're looking at the bonuses that we're going to get. So the bonuses to add them together to make proper teams are going to come from this. We're going to need at least 3 of one faction and 2 of another. So, or 4 or all 5. Well, why is that important right now when we're talking about factions? Because if you're looking to build in a faction solely to get all 5 for that bonus up, if you choose to go in for the Street Gang here, there is only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You would have to use almost all of them but 2. Largest chances you're going to have are in the Lone Wolf. Mafia's not right behind, not too bad. So, is there a best faction? At this point, I would say no. I would say each one of them has some of the best characters scattered throughout. Right now, there's no dominant one. If you want to look at dominant, look at who has the most, it would be the Lone Wolf faction. Now, in team building with your factions, a tank is going to be very important. But if you're not heavy on Lone Wolf faction and you happen to have a tank in one of the other ones, you can still mix together and still get these bonuses. So, as we're thinking of team building and faction wise, we're going to look at, do we have a tank? Do we have a tactician? Do we have a DPS? So, as we look in here, let's say we wanted to use the Street Gang. Here, we have a healer. Okay, so that's great. Do we got a good tank in here? Joshua Owens is a great tank. Sure, we can throw him in. Here we got a tactician. That's 3. We need 2 more. We're going to need some DPS in here for sure. So let's see. Can we get a DPS? There's Gold is definitely a DPS. He's going to be one of your shooters. And now we need 1 more. But let's say we don't really have a good one in there. If we can come across and we can throw somebody else in. So maybe we want 1 more really good DPS. Maybe Turk's the one we want. Oh, he's a tank. Sorry, guys. Elijah Stone should be a DPS. Yep, here we go. We can throw him in there, and that won't take it off too far. So really, when it comes down to factions, we don't need to pick one yet until we're getting real end game, and we're going to put some formations together where we want to have that specific bonus. So as we're growing and we're looking at the factions, look at in the future of who you want to collect to make all those bonuses you want. And at that point, then you can decide on a later team. But right now, I think most of us are at the point where we're just trying to build everything we can because the game is recently and rather new. And if we come down to it and we get lucky enough and we come and we get some of these ladies here, or even some of these guys here, and this lady, we can throw them in a formation and still get our bonus. So, as we come in here, we can look at this formation 1 and we can say to ourselves, hey, we got 4, all Lone Wolf. We got a tank, we got a shooter, we got a healer / tactician, we got another shooter, but we need 1 more. How are we still going to get that bonus for all 5? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to go in here and throw in a cyborg. And we just got all 5. and we still have a really good team set up. So as we're looking in our first thing, we're coming in and we say, oh man, I want them all from the best faction. I don't believe there is one yet. Really don't. But what we do need, we need a tank. We definitely could use a tactician. We'll put her up front. We could use a definite healer. We could use a DPS. And we could throw in another healer. Slash DPS, slash tactician. Now we don't get any bonus for this whatsoever. We got a defense for using mutants and cyborgs. But we don't have any faction bonus. But our team is still really good at this point in the way it's set up. So, could I come in and set up a Mafia team? And maybe the Mafia is the best faction? Sure. But that's... Do I have the pieces needed? Is that what I'm pulling? So here would have to be my team if I wanted to go just with Mafia. In the best team I had. Just by highest sheer power. And this is not a very good team for me. So right now, you know, even though I'm getting this huge bonus for this, that's not really going to carry me through. So when we're going to talk about the best factions, I think right now at the point we're in, until the game is actually fully up and running and we're releasing more enforcers, not any one of these factions is better than any of the other ones. They all have such strong characteristics. They all have such great powers. The only things we're going to get into that we're probably not going to like are these epics here, but as we talked about before, those are food. So what we want to do here, guys, is we want to remember that even if you have an affinity for one of these factions, like I do, I really love the Lone Wolf faction. I really do. I love the tanks. I love the DPSs. I'm not in love with the healers. Not in love with the tacticians. So we can look at this and we can say, hey, we're going to build around this, and when other heroes start coming out, then we can start putting in what it is for the best faction. So the best faction, I can't answer that. The best faction for you is the one that you can build your team around, and the one that you can use to get you through the story mode, the one that you can use to get into PvP ranges, and the one that suits you best for how you are playing this game. I can't tell you the best faction. All I can tell you is what I like and dislike, and if we have to go with that, just to end off the video, I love the Cyborg faction. Oh, but there is only 4 of them. So, either way, when it comes to the best faction, what these factions are, just remember in your team building, that's what's important. It's not really important here that one faction is stronger than the other, because like I showed you before, and let's go check out that real quick again, like I showed you before, the best faction, they have it set up in a circle. So the only 2 best factions really that there are is the cyborgs and the mutants. But if we go up here and we look in the circle of life here, Mafia is strong against Street Gang is strong against Lone Wolf, and so on and so forth. So it's really based on who you're facing. Other than that, the best faction is the faction that you are currently building. So anyways, guys, enjoy this game. Don't invest too heavily and worry too much about which faction these guys are in until you start getting real end game. Then you can start building those base stats, and you can go from there. Alright guys, thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button.